Greetings, fellow horror fans. This is Freaks Movie Reviews here, a new channel to bring everyone who just loves horror movies together. And this is our first review. Horror is mostly about things that scare us, so I thought it'd be a good idea to start my horror movie reviews off with one of the most common fears known to humanity. I'm talking, of course, about fear of spiders. Yeah, never mind terminal illness, traffic accidents, falling off a cliff, watching the Disney Channel, drowning, or other common causes of death. When it comes to those creeping little fellas, most people get real jumpy. So all of November, or what is left of it, I'm going to review horror flicks based around these 8-legged arachnids. And we are kicking off with a movie simply titled Spiders.
Spiders.
Spiders is an exploitation movie in every meaning of the word. It is so obvious the producers just want nothing more than to exploit our fear of spiders. One can only hope that karma catches up on them. You can already tell just looking at the title. Spiders. Just spiders. That's kind of blunt, isn't it? I mean, it's kind of lazy to name your movie after its starring monster. What would the writers of this movie call Jaws a big-ass shark? Or them giant killer ants? Or The Thing, an alien that can take form of anything or anyone, so you don't really know which people are people or which people are aliens? It is redundant when you look at the movie's cover or poster anyway. And it's not like this was the first monster movie with spiders ever. I mean, Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds was just called The Birds, but as far as I know, his is the only movie to star vicious killer birds. Or the only good one anyway. Just looking at the title alone, I can already tell this isn't going to be the most original flick. But we are not here to judge a book by its cover, we are here to judge every other aspect of this film. Spiders was made around that time when CGI was getting really popular, but the technique wasn't really up to par yet. So the first thing you'll notice is that the spider looks just as convincing as Sharktopus. The only difference is that Sharktopus has to be CGI, as it does not exist for real, I hope, while a spider can be found anywhere, even in your house. Well, maybe not this big. I hope. Damn. Even the spider in Tarantula is more convincing, and that movie is from the 50s. It is a pity actually, the special effects don't look that bad, I've definitely seen worse, but because they're intercut with those dreadful visual effects in such a bad way, it makes whatever scary effect they were going for fall totally flat. It is all over the place. Speaking of being all over the place, let us talk about the plot. Yeah, this movie starts off, as most good horror films about spiders do, with the launch of a space shuttle. Sure. Then we cut to a journalist student called Marcy, who interviews a couple of aliens posing as humans.
Oh no.
After that scene, we see them go to Area 51. The shuttle crashes and some army guys and government agents arrive. Okay, so these first couple of scenes do manage to raise some interesting questions. Like, what the fuck is going on? Why? What's the connection with spiders? You think the spiders come from outer space, right? Like some kind of alien spiders? But they're not. In fact, the whole plot point about space shuttle, aliens, Area 51, completely pointless. It has nothing to do with what follows in the rest of the movie. Okay, so was the director high all the time and being spaced out of his mind made him think it was a good idea to start his movie off in space? My guess is he thought the script was fucking boring, so you had to steal interesting concepts from other movies. Yeah, the movie is packed with obnoxious movie references. Aside from the obvious Alien and Men in Black elements, the movie rips off scene after scene, as if it knows that it lacks originality. Like, does this look familiar? Flick! Some of these references don't even make any sense at all.
I'll be back.
We're sure as shit not in Kansas anymore.
Haha, yeah, it's funny cause it's true. Come on, what other movie quotes can we use?
Say hello to my little friend!
Well, do you, punk?
We'll always have Paris.
I'm just a mean green mother from outer space and I'm bad.
The NASA agents, by the way, are led by the most cartoony bad guy, whose main job is to randomly shoot people. It makes me wonder why a movie about a giant killer spider even needs a villain at all. But leaving him out would make the plot simple and interesting and easy to follow. We wouldn't want that, would we? No, we want government conspiracies, secret animal experiments in space, the Jetson couple over here. Oh, and maybe some spiders on the side, if we still have some footage left. It's not like the movie is called Spiders or anything. Of course, Marcy and her two friends, whose brilliant acting puts Tommy Wiseau's to shame,
You asshole!
go to investigate the secret labs of Area 51 to find gross alien stuff. So why not have the story take place in a facility other than Area 51, where they could just be doing tests on spiders? That way, we could have just skipped ahead to what the title promises, instead of giving us all this unnecessary bullshit. The film is called Spiders, guys, and almost 40 minutes in, we have seen a spider for a brief moment in a space shuttle. The Birds doesn't open with a scene of a battlefield. It starts with some fucking birds, because guess what? That is what the story is about. Even other exploitation movies get this right, like Piranha and Sharknado. So after ripping Alien off even more, we finally get to see our 8-legged monster, called Mother-in-Law. Oh no, wait, that's not funny. You would think there is finally going to be some good stuff, but no. As I mentioned before, the effects are just horrible. To be fair, when they use shots of the puppet spiders, it's kind of passable. Not good, but B-movie wise, passable. But the editing is so horrible, it's even hard to make out what's actually happening. That and when they switch to the CGI spider shots, it is just the worst. They could have just dangled a plastic toy spider in front of the camera and that would be a more believable effect. The next half hour of the movie is pretty basic stuff. Our heroes try to get out of the complex while being chased by the spider and the government guys, who are still being led by this evil dude. Naturally, some people get killed off on the way, including Marcy's two friends. Good. The more people getting eaten, the less horrible acting performances we have to suffer through.
Up yours, butt wipe.
Marcy's fine, by the way. Clearly a college student is able to escape this giant killer spider while the highly trained soldiers get killed off one by one. Eventually, she teams up with John, one of the agents who turns out to be a good guy.
Put down your gun.
She tries to shoot him first, but that doesn't seem to bother him. Hey, we all do some crazy things in these giant mutant killer spider times. The two of them manage to kill the beast and get out of there. You'd think the movie would be over by now, but it wouldn't be a bad exploitation flick if there wasn't an overblown and over-the-top ending. Yes, the bad guy is still alive, of course, and he has our heroes in a tight spot. But how is this in any way a good ending scene for a horror movie about spiders? I mean, the spider is dead, isn't it? And why is it called Spiders? It was just one spider, wasn't it? Shouldn't there be another? Wow. Okay. So, after that crazy scene, that I wish I could erase from my memory, a second giant spider runs amok town, killing everything on its path. This is by far the most unintentionally funny part. Just look at how much prone to fall these extras are. It's like the director just told him, okay, you know that game Penguin Pileup? Yeah, just do that for a couple of minutes. The sequence just gets sillier and sillier, giving us the worst CGI effects in the movie. Marcy and John find the bad guy's helicopter, which he just left out in the open. He even left him a bazooka. Well, isn't that nice of him? Did he also leave spider repellent, a broom, a giant vacuum cleaner? After uttering one of the laziest and most unoriginal punchlines in cinema history,
Suck on this, bitch.
Marcy delivers the killing blow and the monster is finally killed off. When the credits began rolling by, accompanied with inappropriate music, I began contemplating my life and how it just got an hour and a half shorter. Now, I don't have to tell you to skip the thing. Just looking at the lazy title gives you enough of an idea how bad this movie really is. The performances are just as convincing as a CGI spider, the plot is all over the place, with its unnecessary sci-fi elements, predictable and boring middle half, and downright over-the-top ending, and the effects are almost as horrendous as the Langoliers. And overall, what the movie lacks most is interesting characters. Low-budget, cheesy horror films, even ones with bad special and visual effects, can be enjoyable if you care about the protagonists. A good character is defined by background or backstory, motivation, and just having a likable or at least interesting personality. Okay, so you can already scrap backstory or likability. Marcy's motivation is hinted at. She wants to be a real reporter and make a groundbreaking news story about Area 51, but that is only in the first 10 minutes or so. After that, none of that is developed, and she becomes just as bland as boring as anyone else. I'll let you in on a little secret, folks. The audience doesn't care what happens, but who it is happening to, because they need someone to identify with. You can put everything you want in your shitty movie. Giant spiders, aliens, space shuttles, or a hot air balloon shaped like an ice bear, but without interesting characters, nobody will care about any of it. So this movie really pisses me off because it fails at one of the most basic principles of telling a story. And because of this, the movie is not the least bit scary or engaging, it is just a bore. I don't recommend it, not even for those of you who like So Bad It's Good movies. There are much more entertaining ones out there, and most of them, even the really bad ones, have characters, which is more that I can say about this bucket of spider vomit. So that is it for my first review. It was a bit of a downer, but there you go. Maybe we can up the ante with a movie about blood-sucking arachnids. That's right, vampire spiders. So make sure to look out for the next episode, which will be ticks. Freaks out.